world, yeah.
Turns out we aren't the only ones having this conversation. The US Supreme Court is wrestling with the same question. Coles Whalen, a singer-songwriter from Colorado, began receiving messages from a fan in 2010, and 4 years later, police estimated that the fan sent over 1,000 messages to the singer. While some were definitely hostile, he also sent ones that implied he actually cared for her, believed they were in a relationship, and was able to watch her without her knowing. I think that's pretty creepy, to be quite honest with you. She began feeling very unsafe and had extreme anxiety. She hired security, stopped performing, and had to make elaborate plans to keep her whereabouts hidden. But the opposing argument recognized that Billy Counterman, the gentleman who was sending these emails, suffered from his own mental health issues and was not aware of the impacts his actions were having on her. Okay, so I'm curious. On one hand, we've got Whalen's perspective of she's being bombarded with emails and letters. But on the other hand, we've got a gentleman who actually thinks very seemingly highly of her. I mean, break down this story here a little bit, guys.
I would need a lot more details in regards to like what he's actually suffering from. And also, this is another thing, right? Like when you go into a court and you plead insanity, how long has this... Is there evidence of this insanity or condition prior to the actual event, right? We want to make sure that that's actually true.
So is it an excuse that somebody...
I think in some cases it could be an excuse.
Really? So if somebody's on the spectrum, it's a potential excuse?
No, not if they're actually on the spectrum.
Okay.
Somebody can use it as an excuse to seem like they are on a spectrum.
Yeah.
Chris, male's point of view.
I think in general, if you're messaging anyone as a man, you kind of have to be careful because obviously, in this situation, this guy obviously went above and beyond. We're talking about thousands of messages, psychotic behavior. But in general, you kind of have to be careful because if you are perceived that way, a woman can ruin your life. You know, they take that to the media, you have this reputation, and your intention could have been far from that. It could have been way less. So you have to...
We have to separate. What you're doing is you're separating this example because this isn't real crazy.
That's crazy guy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But we're talking about like a few messages or even one message.
So on that note, okay, a guy slides into your DMs and says...
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. No, but is it a pickup line's fine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he messages you again and kind of follows up. He saw that you saw the message, but you never responded.
I mean, you could block him at this point.
Okay, but then he messages you on another platform.
Then you block him on that platform.
So at what point, because really there's a lot of people that he could contact, your friends, your parents, at what point do you take it to the next level? And what is that next level?
Yeah, I think at the point when they start contacting other people, that's a big no.
So do you try reasoning with them?
No.
I wouldn't reason.
You can't reason with crazy. So if someone's gonna go through that much energy to make fake accounts, to find your PayPal and message you on PayPal, message your eBay account, right? If someone's gonna take these efforts, then they obviously have some sort of motive that's far beyond anything that you can comprehend. So I think at that point, when you see someone expelling a lot of time and energy in it, then you need to take the next steps and start to take whatever legal action or whatever it needs to be.
Okay, now back to the point though of the whole episode is, how do we identify a true threat? Because there's threats, but then there's like a true threat, right? So this person continues to message you, say they message your parents, whatever. Do you just tell your parents, oh, just block them, it's fine? No, at what point, like, when do you take it to the police?
My parents.
Yeah, no, at that point, I would have a conversation and be like, listen, this is not cool, I'm not interested. If this continues on...
At this point, we're reverse talking. I'm coming after you.
Okay, so now you, in some way, are reasoning with them. In some ways.
Not reasoning, just setting a boundary and saying that this is not okay, and if this continues on, I will have to take it up.
Okay. So that's interesting. So meet me behind the back. So drawing the line in the sand, I guess, does it come down to the comfortability of each individual person? Because this could happen to men too, where a woman continuously stalks you, or it's happened. Obviously, statistics show not as much, but...
I think definitely for maybe us as grown females, that would be, on individual basis. When it's kids and they're getting messages from like 35-year-olds, 14-year-old, 35, that's completely not appropriate.
Chris, from a male's perspective, say, you're single and you're sending a DM to a lady. Does a thought of, could I come off as a threat become something of importance to you?
Not really as a threat. And I would never, if I didn't get a response, or if it was a R&R, read and no respond, then I'm just gonna move on. I'm not gonna there's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm not gonna try to find them in all these different ways and continue to message them, try to find more information on them. It is what it is. So I don't think I would come off as a threat because it's like one message and then nothing, like radio silence.
Yeah. Now, Billy Counterman's lawyer argued that a true threat standard that considers the speaker's intent is necessary to avoid criminalizing inevitable misunderstandings. When we come back, we'll talk about where these misunderstandings come from. It's a little bit harder.